Well. It appears that the Epstein debacle was just a whole bunch of fake financial transactions to make a lot of money disappear. Even using just, made up super affluent there, or not affluent, effluent maybe. Financial jargon. I mean, the only reason you send millions and millions and millions of reserve notes, the helicopter script, the only reason you send that by the millions down a Pedo Island there is to get Epstein and his entourage to make it all disappear. In other words, Epstein was engaged in a huge money laundering operations. Same without at Zorro Ranch. I mean, the whole Epstein empire was nothing more than abracadabra, presto changeo, hocus pocus, make huge amounts of money disappear. They were laundering lots of money. Hello! And pretty much the same thing that Donald Trump was doing with all his fake business records. He was hiding money and laundering money. Boy, the old beard's getting long. I think maybe I'll have to whack it back. But, folks, of course abusing young women is beyond criminal. Of course, engaging in trafficking young girls for a bunch of old perverts, like Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. I'm sorry, pal, but, you like sexy women on the younger side, right? Yeah. Old Donnie Trump, pervert Donnie, and his, how many felonies were you convicted of with false business records? I don't know. I've never been convicted of 35 felonies, so hell, you got me there, Donnie Trump. Now on to, nitwit the Yahoo, Bibi, the Milakowski, butcher, murderer, Bolshevik of Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, getting old Donald to attack Iran. Preemptive war, you and Hegseth. Personally, I think Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio and Hegseth and, J.D. Vance, the whole pile of belong in a jail cell. And this just bullshit, wild excuse, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Come on, man. That's just making up excuses, Donald Trump, for Greater Israel. And I know you don't like it when I tell you, but, you can fool some of the people some of the time. Yeah. But you can't fool all the people all the time, Donald Trump. Hey, I got me something itching on my nose. I don't know. Freaking wild hair or something. Long story short, Donald Trump, that old attack Iran, turned out a little bit differently than invading and attacking Venezuela for that Maduro. Whatever happened to old Maduro? Is he going to get a trial, or I don't know, he's just kind of disappeared into the background, old Maduro. Now, was he a scumbag? I wouldn't doubt it. There's a lot of them that are that way. That's how they get to the levels of power that they get to, right, Donald Trump? Being a scumbag? Sort of like Bill Clinton. There's a scumbag for you. And his wife, Hillary Clinton, the bleach bit mobster from New York. And she smashed all those computers and killed all the devices. Remember, she told the whole world she only had one device. Remember, Hillary? I only had one device. That's where you lied to everybody. You had plenty more than one. That's right in the time. You know, we came, we saw, and he died. I only had one device. You lying sack of shit, Hillary. Yep. And here's one that really blew your mind. You know, Barack Obama and the White House put out on the internet a copy of a certificate of live birth, which is typewritten images and stuff on security paper. You can go and take the live certificate of birth there and enlarge it to 500%. You'll notice that around all the typing that was cut and pasted into the document, there's this white halo around all the printing on the document, whiting out the security paper background. Well, I got a bunch of checks, collector's items that are personal checks that Elvis Presley wrote, and those checks are security paper, and when you enlarge those to 500%, they're just as clear as a bell. There's no white halo around all the printing and the signature. And no, because it's not a cut and paste job. That live certificate of birth there that the White House put out on Obama, I think a doorman at a nightclub would spot it as fake ID. Fake document, what it is, plain and simple. And I put that before the federal court up in Salt Lake City, but them Mormon judges, man, they all come out of that Reuben Clark Law Library there, that law school at BYU Provo. I got kicked out of the law school at BYU because of filing that challenge to that cut and paste certificate of live birth. And you can try it yourself. Just get a copy of the certificate of live birth and enlarge it to 500%, and then take those checks that Elvis Presley wrote and do the same thing and put the images side by side, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, I'm going to move on to good old Sheriff Joe Corley and Guy Williams down old Conroe, Texas. And the new sheriff down there, I guess his name is Sheriff Doolittle. And a whole bunch of tax appraisal fraud where they've jacked up all the values of real estate in the Montgomery County Central Appraisal District so they can rob the homeowners for large amounts of taxes. And if you don't pay them, man, they foreclose on your house. So they're using a fraudulent tax scheme to distress real estate, to foreclose on it and take the property from their fake tax racketeering. All using the United States mail, by the way, Sheriff Doolittle. Yeah, they're using the U.S. postal system to push all their paperwork around. They've been doing those real estate scheming and scamming and rackets in old Montgomery County for decades. Many, many decades. Old Conroe, Texas, man. They'll come up with some kind of fake bullshit to rob people. And that's directed at County Judge Barb Sadler and Keogh, I guess the name is, County Judge Keogh, and former Montgomery County Sheriff Guy Williams. Because I can remember very distinctly when they dumped flares all over my home at about 2:45 in the morning from a helicopter. Yeah, I live out in kind of a remote area of the Montgomery County and the 4th Precinct, and 20 minutes to 2:45 in the morning, I get an airplane and then a helicopter dumping flares all over my house. I wonder how many people that are listening to this video have ever had that happen, where they try to burn your home down with a helicopter and a flare bombing. They flare bombed the shit out of my house, trying to burn me out. Sheriff Guy Williams, remember that day in court when I had you pinned up against the wall there and told you if they ever try it again, I'm taking out the helicopter? Oh, he got all upset. You got something to take down a helicopter? And the answer is, Yeah, I do. You'd be surprised, old Sheriff Guy Williams. Where are you hiding these days, man? You got a law firm or something? You went into private law practice or something like that, old Guy Williams? You protecting those real estate fraud racketeers from old Conroe, the Harris mob? You and Attorney General there, the pedo protector there, Ken Paxton. Well, that deal you tried to run through federal judge Alfred H. Bennett's courtroom, and the same BS you pulled over in Judge Ellison's courtroom, letting the Harris Mafia off the hook. You talk about covering up for your homies. Covering up for your homies. Fraud out that. Mitch Wexler and all of his friends and family and people that are working with Mitch Wexler, they'll get that in a heartbeat. That old real estate fraud racketeering in Conroe and Montgomery County is pretty sophisticated now, isn't it, Mr. Wexler? Yeah, buddy. What do you think about this old Christopher Schwicker? Is this a routine real estate fraud you were telling everybody about? And how the whistleblowers from the rooftops have been being ignored like the victims in the Epstein scheme and scam? The massive money laundering, scheming, and scamming of Epstein and Company? Money laundered out the ass. The little girls, well, and boys, from what I understand too, they had little boys. If I were in the position of authority, I guarantee you Guantanamo Bay would be full with those sons of bitches, including, I watched, how many times did Trump take the Fifth Amendment? I think it was like 4 times what Anthony Fauci was like 111. But I think Don Trump took the Fifth Amendment 400 and something times. And then got convicted of how many felonies, Don Trump? We got a felon in the White House. And John Roberts, the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, Scrotus, you're so full of shit on the immunity issue, it's not even funny. Don Trump's not immune from anything, especially crimes. But, I guess you got a lot of people buffaloed there, John Roberts. Wow. Okay, America, we're looking at $50 trillion in debt by 2028. $50 trillion. Helicopter. Remember that. Write that down. Helicopter script. The old Federal Reserve notes they print up right out of the thin air. Folks, all the information and the links you need are listed below. And remember one thing. People think I'm crazy, but I'm not.